Hey guys, welcome to Hank's Maker Mentor. Today we're going to go over the differences between group, attach, and weld, let you know which one you need to use and how to use them. So we're going to start by going in and going into shapes. We're just going to put in a couple of basic shapes. So we're going to put in some stars, some hearts, and some circles. So I'm actually going to make my circles. I'm going to select both of them and change their color to blue. I'm going to change my hearts to both be red, and I'm going to change my stars to be yellow. So to change the color, on the bottom left you'll see cut and then a little circle, and if you click on that circle it'll bring up your options. This top row shows which ones are being used in my project. I can select from the common ones. I can also go and customize either by selecting somewhere or typing in a code for a very specific one. I'm actually going to make all of these a little bit smaller, and we're going to put them up next to those ones. We actually need to space this way out, and we'll kind of put everything in. Now I'm using the smart grid on the iPad for this. You don't have to do that. You are welcome to use a line if you care, or if it's not an important thing, you don't have to do that at all. So it's really up to what you need. So we're going to start by talking about group and when group is useful. So I've made these all the same color, but we're going to demonstrate by just doing some shapes. We're going to pretend we're doing a stop sign. So I'm going to put in an octagon, and then I'm going to take this square and I'm going to unlock it and resize it to be a rectangle. But I don't want a gray one, so I'm going to change my octagon to red, and oh, I forgot to click apply. So I'm going to change it to red, and I'm going to change my stand to be this light gray. So if I want to resize and move things around, if I just click the octagon, that's all it's going to grab. But if I select both of them and then go into actions, and on the far left you'll see group. Now even if I just select one part of it, they'll both get selected and they'll move together. That'll allow me to keep them together, to resize them without having to remember to do both. This will make it so that they stay together on my canvas, but not when I go to make it. So if I take that same one and I duplicate it, but instead of grouping it, I ungroup it and then I attach it, it's now become red for both parts. And it will cut just like this together on the mat. So attach, it needs to be the same color and they'll stay the same. So we're going to duplicate once again, and we're going to come down here and zoom in to make this a little clearer. So we're going to ungroup. The pole of my stop sign is going into my stop sign, and they're meeting. So if I would just attach these, it's still going to cut that area that's overlapped, which will give an extra cut and it won't be smooth. So we're actually going to detach them. We're going to undo it all, and if I select both of them and I weld them, they are now smooth. It's one solid cut. For this one, the knife can be put down and it can just go smooth without having to lift or anything. Weld is particularly useful if you're doing a script font, because it will make sure it all is together and nothing overlaps. Now that we've kind of shown what the different ones will do on our stop signs, we're actually going to delete those, and we're going to go through and do the steps for each of these. So for my yellow, I selected all of them, and I'm going to click group here on the bottom left, and you'll see it has the option to ungroup if I've changed my mind. For attach, I'm going to select all of them, and then I'm going to click attach. You'll see to the right you have detach as well. Weld is a little bit different. I'm going to select all of them and I'm going to click weld. But there is no unweld. At this point, I can duplicate it or I can hide the contour. If you want to unweld something, the only way of actually doing that is to click your undo button. Now, if you've done 4 other steps between what you welded and when you realize you need to unweld, then you've got to undo all of those steps. So you want to make sure before you weld that you wait until the very end when you're totally happy. So what I like to do is before I weld, I actually like to just group it in the meantime. So that way, if I forget to weld, when I go to make it, I'll notice it much easier and it'll remind me to come back to my canvas. So we're actually going to hide this layer. So we're going to go in and click make it. So if you notice on our yellow, everything's been squished closer and moved around. I can move them around here on the mat as well. For attach, they are all one connected block, and same with weld, it's one connected piece. So if you want to be able to squeeze things in closer or something, that's when you'd want group. It also reminds you, if you haven't, in my example I gave, if you haven't finished welding something that needs to be welded. Attach is great, it keeps it together on the canvas and on your mat, but it's not as permanent as weld. Weld is important when you want to make sure it's a seamless cut, particularly for like a script font. So you need to pay attention to which one, because depending on your situation, it will make a difference. Please feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer those. And also let me know if there's any other tutorials you'd like to see from me. Until next time, have a great day.